This is ohmTown on Twitch. Hello. Hello. Um okay, due to some last minute schedule changes, I'm going to have to do my show kind of out of cycle. I would normally do it at 11 o'clock, but I have a meeting that's going to brush right up against it. And so I have to move my stream and the everything to right now. So if you were waiting until 11 o'clock, I'm really sorry. At any rate, let's get into the news. That way I can get through all of this. I actually have this meeting and the work that's necessary is going to impact even the end of this stream. So let's get moving. The very first episode is in the Word in Tech, and it's unlocking the secrets of maple syrup one molecule at a time. Go over to fizz.org. Sebastian Cardinal and Amy McMacken from The Conversation. That's actually a podcast. So anyway, it's over at fizz.org. And it says plant evolution has taken place over hundreds of millions of years, giving plants the ability to respond to various environmental stresses and threats. Several species have developed an arsenal of molecules, allowing them to adapt and to protect themselves against competitors and predators. Some of these molecules have health benefits for animals that consume them. That'll be interesting. This is how you end up with Hulk, though. I mean, or Poison Ivy, or pretty much superheroes and supervillains. And it seems like supervillains come before superheroes. You don't really need a superhero if you don't have a supervillain, I suppose. Or at least people trending towards supervillainy. But in the realm of sweets, maple syrup is finally claiming its rightful place. Maple syrup is no longer only the jewel of Canada's culinary heritage, its nutritional reputation is also improving. Because of its unique natural source and manufacturing process, maple syrup contains bioactive molecules whose benefits go far beyond the simple pleasure of a sweet treat. So, like all of these fizz.org articles, it goes pretty deep into the reads. So, I encourage you to go over, follow the link in the show notes over to Unlocking the Secrets of Maple Syrup, One Molecule at a Time, which is an article over at fizz.org. Let's keep on going. I don't know if I'll be able to play this video. It really depends. I haven't clicked on the link to take me over to the site where it's sourced from. But I thought that it might be interesting to at least bring it to your attention. A 7-year-old wins race after recovering shoe. Talea, daughter of boxing champ Terrence Howard, sprinted her way to victory after running back to grab her shoe during a 200-meter dash. This kind of falls in the aw, how cute kind of a thing. But it's ABC News, and they have the video over there. Is it actually going to play it? I'll probably end up stopping this. Oh, there it is. Ta-da, gets her shoe and then puts on turbo mode and just, oh my god, oh my gosh, that is amazing. Comes back to win, huh? Wow, the cameraman, come on, camera person, I don't know who it was that was recording this, but my goodness, look at that determination. Go, go, go. Wow. Hey, it just goes to show you, sometimes you can fall down, fix your mistake, and still go back and crush it. Now, naturally, there's some natural ability there. Yeah, I don't have that kind of ability, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, let's continue on. It's a neat video. So go over to ABC News. I don't know if there's actually a source for this, so I don't see an author or anything, but it's in their Instagram at tbudcrawford is the person that sourced it. So it's over at ABC News, and you can follow the link right here in chat. There you go. Let's go on to the next article. The next article is in The Word in Tech, and it's about DJI. DJI officially announces the Mini 3 Pro. DJI's smallest and lightest drone is getting a significant upgrade, both in features and price. The newly announced Mini 3 Pro comes with a new design, 4K 60 video, wow, a larger image sensor, a larger aperture, obstacle avoidance sensors, and even an option for a bigger battery, but don't expect it to be affordable. The Mini 3 Pro costs $669 to start, and that's without a controller. With a controller, you'll be paying $759 or more, a $300 premium over last year's Mini 2. It still weighs less than 250 grams, even though it's done all of these upgrades. Wow. Let's click the link and take us over to The Verge. And I've been looking for a drone. I want to do first-person flying of a drone. So I'm going to look into this one and see if I should invest in something like this. Vajarin Pavic, I think, is the author. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, please correct me. It's over at The Verge, and this article is titled DJI officially announces Mini 3 Pro. And they have some pictures, but what I said is pretty much the general overview of the material here. Although they get deeper into it, it's pretty standard that I do a summary. But autonomously following subjects either from behind or while flying parallel to at the side, which I think is amazing technology, particularly if there's obstacle avoidance in the drone. Flight time always depends on battery size and just how much you actually push it. So they end up talking about it, but it's about 40 or so minutes. Hover time for each is 30 to 40 minutes respectively. So there's different. And the Mini 2s is 31 minutes. But the Intelligent Flight Battery Plus, which allows for an impressive maximum flight time of 47 minutes. So pretty cool. The remote controller in addition to the drone, DJI is also releasing a new remote controller, the DJI RC. It is a much lighter and stripped down version of the $1,199, so a $1,200 DJI RC Pro. It features a bright 700 nit 5.5 inch screen. That eliminates the need for a phone. Yeah, see, I want a separate controller because I don't want any lag. I want immediate control of the drone. But I would rather use a head-mounted display instead of a controller like that. It immerses you into the drone and you become a part of it instead of looking at a screen, and you've got less immersion. So, but of course, you also are pulled out of the real world into a drone, so you have to be kind of hyper vigilant. But that's my nature anyway. So pretty cool. Go check out that article over at The Verge. The next article is The Word in Tech, or it's in The Word in Tech. The Rig 800 is still the most comfortable wireless gaming headset the author has tried. So there is the link to the article. Again, it's going to be in the show notes if you're listening to this via the podcast. The Nacon Rig, it's Nacon Rig 800 wireless gaming headset. In 2018, in a bout of curiosity, the author decided to review every single wireless gaming headset on the market, 32 pairs. Let's go take a look at what this is. This is an article over at The Verge by Sean Hollister. And it says, "Don't fix what ain't broke." And so they say that the Rig 800 is still the most comfortable wireless gaming headset that they've tried. I might have to get it. See, the thing about all of this is anything anything wireless creates a little bit of lag. These are always really bulky. I have a mic right here. You can't really right there. That really looks weird on the video, but anyway. So there's a mic right here, but I used to wear a wireless mic, a little boom mic right here, and it was actually wireless to my computer, but because of the complexity, it added a little bit of lag, and I didn't really like having to babysit that. And then in meetings and stuff like that, you have these big old cans on your head, and to me, it's distracting. So I'm looking at getting a true wireless, really inexpensive JLab headset. In-ear monitors, actually. You just put these little buds in there, and they're supposed to communicate with each other. I've had them before, but over time, they're inexpensive, so they just kind of die. And I haven't gone back, so I'm gonna try it again. But I might have to get something like this, um, just to see if I like it. Plantronics no longer exists after merging with Polycom to become Poly and then selling itself to HP, but the Rig 800 is alive and well at French gaming company Nacon, or Nacon. I've been trying the 2022 Pro model for the past couple of weeks, and it's hard for me to imagine a more comfortable headset. Cool. Plus, the $150 headset looks like it might eliminate one of my biggest frustrations with headsets like these, the battery. Not only does the new Rig 800 appear to have more battery life than the original, the author measured 38 hours at 50% volume. Wow, which is 14 hours more than the Nikon quotes. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So yeah, like they said in the article, it was originally a Plantronics product, but now it's over at Nikon. So go check it out. The Rig 800 gaming headset. So it has a boom mic, and looks like a really comfortable headrest, and it's wireless. Okay, so the next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Big meat threatens to gobble up fake meat companies, say studies. I talk about this all the time. Mergers and acquisitions are the bane of competition and the antithesis of what a consumer should want. Obviously, as fake meat companies become competitive, they're going to either want to recover their value, their money, and move on to something else. So you end up with mergers and acquisitions. Big meat, and I have a hard time even saying big meat, but big meat and food conglomerates threaten to push out smaller producers of meat alternatives in the same way they have affected other food industries, according to two recent reports. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Meat companies such as JBS and Cargill have invested heavily in plant-based proteins and laboratory-grown meats in recent years and bought out several smaller companies, according to a report published Tuesday by the nonprofit Food and Water Watch and a March report from IPES Food, a coalition of food systems experts. This is an article over at The Guardian, and you know, it's just a natural process, I suppose. It's a societal norm. I don't really want to accept it, but it is. That people don't necessarily want to have to be the burden of long-term risk. And so if they can get out of Dodge and let a bigger company take over and they get compensated adequately, then they move on and that's just what happens. But for the life of me, I wish that there was more competition. And that is the only way that prices remain low and a benefit to consumers stays high. Because as options wane, so does your ability to go elsewhere, and you end up having to purchase everything from one company. And that's just the way that it is, I suppose. Money always tends to win out, just like automation always tends to win out. Um, and you can fight the good fight for as long as you want, if you have the fortitude to do it. So this article about the big meat threatening to gobble up fake meat companies is over at theguardian.com, and it's written by Matt Krupnick. But I'm going to continue on. Again, I have to get all of this in within an hour. So thanks for your patience. And I'm trying to solidify my schedule. I've got about another week of this, and then it's all me all the time, I suppose. I'll be streaming 6 to 8 hours a day. The next article is in ohmTown. The word in tech is the article's title, and it's over at The Guardian. No matter how hard developers try to avoid it, games are and should be political, is what the author says. Let's go over to the article, and it's an article written by Kiza McDonald. And it says here, in this week's newsletter, when the New York Times removed the word fetus from the game out of fear of making a political statement, they did just that. It really doesn't. Games shouldn't be. This wasn't a political game developer or a developer that didn't want to make a political statement so much. I mean, that's the reason why it was done. They didn't want to make a political statement, but it wasn't the developer that was making the political statement. It was the world saying that you're not allowed to say the word fetus, for crying out loud. I mean, it's rather absurd. And if we keep backing away from using words, you're going to become an echo chamber. Now there's certain words, there's certain phrases, there's certain things that should be stuffed back under a rock and prevented from ever happening again. I understand that, but not the word fetus. It should never have been a concern, but you have to worry about the optics. And when you're trying to please everybody, ultimately you're going to end up with dry white toast and not really appeal to anyone, except a select few who are fine with just going along regardless. And unfortunately, in the process of doing it, other people are going to say, like this newsletter, it's become a political statement because you didn't want to make a political statement. And that's kind of a shame. It says, I think it's difficult to argue, the article says, I think it's difficult to argue that the word fetus happening to show up as a Wordle solution on the day that abortion rights were back on to the news agenda constitutes a political statement. It is a coincidence, but the New York Times attempted removal of the word absolutely is a political statement. One that says that the game should have nothing to do with real life events, even accidentally. Heaven forbid that we should be made to think about fetuses on the day that we're all reckoning with the definition of a fetus and its impact on women's bodily autonomy, right? And they should have left it in there. But now the optics of it are that instead of just it being a game and a word, now it's a point of contention and shows that they are trying to be in all ways politically minded instead of saying the truth, saying how things are. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm doing this stream and podcast. But, my fatal flaw is that I'm not running around trying to tell everybody about it. You can feel free to go and tell people, like it or not, either way, go tell people. And let's see what the conversation turns into. I won't be upset. But remember, you know, when you're going into somebody else's channel, you're going into their space, into their house, not yours. Um, so read the room. Let's see. Let me post that in chat and this next one into chat. Okay. So this next article is over in the Order of the Grape channel, which is about wine. Baja California on the rise, getting to know Mexico's top wine region. And the author writes, in many ways, Baja California, Mexico's primary wine region on the thin peninsula that juts due south from Tijuana, is defined by its lack of definition. Quote, we don't have an appellation of origin or even a geographic indication, says Sandra Fernandez, Mexican wine expert, winemaker, and wine director of Playa del Carmen's Hoteles Ex Carret. So, not having rules, not having these legal frameworks you have to attach yourself to in terms of production makes it possible for change to happen fast. If you go over to VinePair, if you follow that link, you'll get taken to VinePair. The article is by Pamela Vacan or Vation. I'm not sure. I'm really sorry. Again, I haven't heard the name, so I'm not quite sure. So, unlike most wine regions, the lack of rules governing winemaking in Baja California results in an astonishing diverse array of wines, including sparkling wines, atypical blends, and those from delicate grapes that unexpectedly succeed in Mexico's most inhospitable climate, such as Pinot Noir and Nebbiolo, which I've not had. I don't believe so. So, there is a whole winemaking region down south of California, in Baja California. And if you're interested in some wines, go over to vinepair.com and read the rest of this article. The next article is over in the Order of the Grape. Again, it's about wine, how to drink Caribbean rum. This article is about rum, though. According to a bartender, for many drinkers, rum is regarded as a mysterious spirit. Nope, rum is awesome. It comes in a variety of hues, ranging from clear to caramel and dark brown molasses, and is most known for use in its dessert-like cocktails suitable for ocean views or poolside sipping. Now, rum is most known for pirates. That's what it's most known for. You talk to somebody about rum, and they probably will bring up images of pirates. Yeah. But then there's so much more to rum than meets the eye, and recent celebrity endorsements and rising interest in reclaiming tiki-style drinks, Caribbean rum in particular, is stepping into the spotlight. So rum and rum drinks are my favorite drink. I have not had one in more than 70 days now. I think somewhere around 75. And I've avoided sugar as well, sugar and alcohol for the last, I'm going 90 days for sure. Not sure how long it'll last after that, but this is an article by Jessica Fields, and it says, Understanding Caribbean Rum. Although rum can be produced anywhere, some of the world's best offerings hail from Caribbean islands such as Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, and Barbados. Quintessentially tied to the culture and land, rum is distilled from the sugarcane plants that grow on the islands, and unlike bourbon or whiskey, has little to no production regulations. In the Caribbean, rum is made utilizing column stills or pot distillation, a method that is strongly associated with Jamaican rums. It can be aged in barrels that create unique flavor profiles. Yeah, so I nowadays largely don't mix my drinks unless I'm drinking with somebody else, enjoying a show or something like that. But Long Island iced teas are awesome. Um, that's kind of my go-to mixed drink, but I drink rum straight. There's so many different rums out there, or different drinks and rums. So it says how to sip it neat. The simplest rum cocktail. It's a mixture of rum, lime juice, and simple syrup that makes a classic daiquiri the easiest way to utilize the spirit in a cocktail. Um, let's see. I don't know what else is in here. How to sip it neat or on the rocks. Much like whiskey, the taste of rum can change from smoky, sweet, spiced, or to grassy. That said, it can also be sipped in a similar fashion. Yep, absolutely. A little bit of water and it seems to pop just like regular whiskey. Mm. Anyway, what I recommend to anybody who is drinking anything outside mixed drink, try it. Just go somewhere. It might be more expensive in the beginning if you are looking for something, or you can just buy a bottle, and it's a whole lot cheaper in the long run than going to a bar and sampling a bunch of stuff. But there's a lot of different drinks out there, well beyond just rum. So it can be pretty expensive going to either place, the store and buying a bottle, or a restaurant and getting a sip of something, a little shot of something that you might be interested. But for the most part, what you're going to see in a restaurant is kind of mainstream stuff, unless you go to a really expensive restaurant. Or you can just go right down the road to a liquor store and grab a bottle for a fraction of the price. Okay, so let's continue on to the next article. It's in Hatch Ideas. National average for gasoline hits $4.37 a gallon. This is obviously here in the States, and that is nothing. I ended up paying about $1 more for my car per gallon. The national average for a gallon of gas hit an all-time high on Tuesday. In California, where prices are highest, the state average is approaching $6, and that's for the regular gas. Then you got to add another $1.25 or more for the higher end premium stuff. Let's just click the link, take us over to CNBC, and let's see here. Prices have been rising at a fast clip, with the ascent accelerating after Russia invaded Ukraine, sending energy markets reeling. I don't think that it was before that so much. The CPI was, but I don't know about gas jumping. But it, in fact, it has been for a little while. But anyway, I'll do some more research and come back and talk with a little bit more foundational material if needed. But diesel prices are the things that I've been watching increase. And when I was a lot younger, they were like under $1, and now somebody said, you know what, let's start jacking up the prices for diesel. And it says so. Diesel prices, meantime, are also surging. The national average hits $5.55 per gallon on Tuesday. And in the worst places, which are ports of call around the United States, you're going to see higher than average. Why this is, it's supposedly supply and demand, but that's kind of garbage, because if it's harder to get to a location, then the price should be higher, but they're dumping the fuel literally right there. It shouldn't be expensive, but it is. It's wildly expensive. And so the cost of goods and everything, the cost of living, is priced primarily at that fuel price. And I think that it's predatory pricing right now, and people are just trying to get as much money as they can while inflation is inbound, so that they can weather inflation a whole lot better than everybody else. And these are billionaires that are doing this. This isn't, just, it isn't me. It isn't the average Joe. It's billionaires that are setting this price trend. So, and with prices for fuel being the foundation, everything else costs more. The oil benchmark traded around $101.66 on Tuesday. That's significantly off its recent high of $130. Yet here we are, still paying a wildly outstripped price based on everything historical. I mean, we're going to end up again back in the late 70s, early 80s of inflation. The middle class is the one that's going to pay the price. So we're going to have a major adjustment coming. Anyway, this article is over at CNBC by Pippa Stevens. So go over and read the rest of the article. The next article is in Hatch Ideas. The theater chain AMC beat its first quarter estimates, but one analyst still says the stock is going to $1. One-time meme stock is still overvalued according to MKM Partners. I don't think that there is much. I mean, it's a meme stock, and the industry is trending towards people just staying home. And I'm sure that the only way people are going to movie theaters is if the studios artificially prop it up and send it to movie theaters. If they send it to streaming services and allow me to buy it in 4K, nobody's going to go to a movie theater. But this is about propping up the industry. And the market will adjust. At some point, it's going to be an untenable position. And you'll have really expensive theater chains that have dinner and the movie and things like that. But for the most part, I think movie theaters are kind of peak movie theater. But we'll see. It's all about where people are sent to consume these movies. AMC is just one. So this article is over at CNBC by Jesse Pound. And the investor says that this MKM Partners person says that investors should shy away from AMC. Let's go on to the next article. And that, oh, you know what? I did it again. I didn't throw the link into chat. But don't fret, they will be in the show notes, all of them. And this next article is in the Continuity Report. Warner Brothers Discovery aims to use sports to snatch primetime ad dollars from broadcasters. After buying Warner Media from AT&T, the company now known as Warner Brothers Discovery has a new target. Primetime ad dollars that have been going to ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox. The new entertainment giant has been talking to big media buying agencies about an enhanced package of commercial inventory to top programs. Let's click the link. It takes us over to Variety. It has a big old picture of somebody. I don't know if that's John Stanislav or not. And I'm not one for knowing everybody, but anyway, this article is over at Variety, written by Brian Steinberg. And traditional hits in broadcast primetime are hard to find in the streaming era, says John Steinlauf, Chief U.S. Advertising Officer for Warner Brothers Discovery, in an interview. Meanwhile, his company can curate programs from across its cable networks that will give advertisers audiences similar to what they might get from broadcast rivals. When you put together all the discrete fan bases together, that's a weird sentence. When you put together all of the discrete fan bases together, you've got as much reach as any company can get, he says. Yeah, that would be what reach is. The strategy shows the newly merged company growing aggressive as the industry annual upfront advertising market looms. In the past, Discovery hasn't vied as directly with bigger media companies, holding an upfront presentation earlier in the year, far from the glitzy entreaties of Disney, Comcast, and Paramount Global. Well, they're going to have to change their tune. I mean, CNN Plus kind of imploded, so I don't know if they're reading the room adequately. Let's go on to the next article, which is one that really drew my attention. It's in the Smack Talk channel because it's about Apple and Apple researching large-scale MagSafe technology for Apple car charging. The Apple car could have its own MagSafe style charger alignment system, with contacts on a charging station automatically aligning perfectly with counterparts located on the electric car. Current electric vehicles need drivers to plug in the charging cables manually. The often rumored Apple car has taken on many forms in its speculation. So let's click the link. So we're taken over to appleinsider.com. Malcolm Owen is the author, and it has a picture of a car that is plugged in. The Apple car could have its own MagSafe style charger. What do you think? Do you want to have to worry about something magnetic aligning with your car, or do you want to just have your battery replaced so that you've got a known good battery fully charged? It only takes 5 minutes to swap it out, and you're in and out of a charging station. Obviously, you can have the option of charging at home via cable, but I really want a system where it's as fast as a gas station. And until we have the ability to push electricity into it like a capacitor super fast and discharge the heat, which is always the problem with energy transfer, well, I don't think that we're there yet. So, but let's keep on pushing. Let's keep on pushing. Early adopters are helping facilitate this change to electric vehicles, and battery technology will evolve. The physics will evolve, and that's what education and fundamental research is all about. So I'm not going to go through this whole article here on the stream, but it says here, such systems do not have to be tied to a stationary vehicle. In 2018, Apple thought about a peloton of self-driving vehicles that are close enough together to in a convoy that they can connect together. The peloton would reduce drag to save fuel and could allow for vehicles to share energy reserves with each other, minimizing the need to stop and refuel. Yeah, so everybody is draining everybody else. Should somebody weak in the system, a weak link, so to speak, break the peloton. So I thought it was funny that they mentioned Peloton because later on there will be a reference to Peloton. This next article is in Tabletop Nights, and it's Tales of Luminaria will shut down on July 19th. The new mobile game would not last longer than even Crastorium. So let's click the link, take us over to rpgsite.net, and it says Bandai Namco has announced the sudden closure of Tales of Luminaria. The mobile game will cease to exist simultaneously worldwide on July 19th in US time zones. This closure will also affect the game's storytelling, as there will no longer be new character episodes after the final episode, set to come with version 1.6.0 update in late May. Tales of Luminaria was initially revealed in late August 2021. The mobile game launched worldwide in early November of the same year, and only lasted, 8 months? Although the global release only had English voiceovers at launch, Bandai Namco eventually added a Japanese voiceover. So it kind of imploded. I guess my desire to not play it might have impacted its success. I don't know. So let's go on to the next article. The next article is Gianni Versace's Baroque-style townhouse in New York City hits the market for $70 million. Let's go take a look inside. I won't even talk about it. We're just going to go and look inside. And one of the mansion's living rooms, a 17-room mansion formerly owned by Italian designer Gianni Versace, is for sale for $70 million. They bought the home for $7.5 million in 1995, 2 years before he was murdered. The 6-story property features an Italian Baroque style often referenced in Versace's designs. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I like the style, I suppose, in its industrial design, but I think it's too ostentatious, um, too flashy with the furniture and stuff that's in there, and pillars and things like that that are just too busy for me. I mean, I like a nice, I don't know, maybe clinical room. It's just, I like white walls, and obviously muted colors can be on them, but plain walls, um, I don't know. But I appreciate it in other places. Like I can go into somebody else's house and appreciate the artwork and pictures and stuff like that, and really not have any problem with it. But my particular style is not like this. Really ostentatious fixtures and um, paintings of chandeliers on the walls, not actual chandeliers, but this has even chandeliers on the walls. Yeah, it's all a little over the top for me, and definitely the marble floors and things like that. So, if you want to see more about this, Gianni Versace's former Baroque style townhouse in New York City on sale for or on the market for $70 million, almost 10 times what it was purchased for. Follow the link that's in the show notes. The next article is Pfizer is buying Biohaven Pharmaceutical for $11.6 billion. This is part of that process of consolidation. And, people are going to lose their jobs, and different research will take place. But it says Pfizer said on Tuesday it will be buying migraine drug maker Biohaven Pharmaceutical, holding for about $11.6 billion in cash. So all that wealth will be concentrated into a select few, and the value will be pulled into Pfizer. And says here, the deal announced on Tuesday will give Pfizer access to Biohaven's approved Rimegepant, I guess, a potential blockbuster that belong to a class of migraine treatments known as calcitonin gene-related peptide or CGRP inhibitors. Flush with about $32 billion in cash on hand after its success with the COVID-19 drugs, Pfizer has been looking to add treatments as patents for its top-selling drugs like blood thinner Eliquis near expiration. And they'll just stop making it. Some generic will pop up, and they'll change their formula and repatent. It is what it is, and you don't maintain being an ongoing concern by being a one-hit wonder, so to speak. So Pfizer will do what it takes to survive, and so will the people inside it. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Peloton shares plummet after company posts huge loss and offers weak guidance. Peloton reported a wider than expected quarterly loss and a steep decline in sales as inventory is piled up in warehouses and ate away at the company's cash. Let's click the link. It takes us over to CNBC. And Lauren Thomas is the author. Did I say who the author was of this? Let me scroll back up to the top. Yeah, I don't see the author for that Pfizer article. I don't like that. And I don't see it. So it just says squawk on the street. So I don't know if that's part of it. Anyway, let's go over to CNBC for this. Peloton shares fall after company posts huge loss and offers weak guidance. It's written by Lauren Thomas. And we've kind of been seeing the writing on the wall for Peloton. If it doesn't change its practices, it got kind of hit again and again. There are people that are extremely passionate about Peloton's stationary bike, but it also has other items that really, I mean, it's the sorry for the dead air. Really, what's happening is people are going back to the gym, and Peloton really should be selling these to gyms now, and people can log into their account at the Peloton, but they are paying a monthly service, whereas the very expensive bike is being purchased by the gym. And if you become a member of the gym, then you can tack on a Peloton subscription. It might be discounted because of the gym, um, kind of being the focus of it, or people can buy the bike. So make it an option. But some people don't have the space, don't have the time, whatever. Well, Peloton is suffering the impact of um, this change as people return. They leave their houses now, and we saw this coming. A lot of us who have been looking at Peloton, um, and now I'm changing my entire perspective. I don't think Peloton, it motivates people. It's a niche, but I think it's actually peak Peloton. Pardon me one second. I think what's going to end up happening is competitors in strength exercises are going to hit the market, like Tonal, and kind of start chipping away more at Peloton, because you can ride any bike and get an aerobic workout, or you can use any treadmill. Um, but one of both of those take up space, and then along with something like um, free weights and other exercise equipment, you end up basically having to have a massive room. Whereas if I buy something like Tonal, although it's expensive, it is hooked up with monitoring you and your statistics, and it allows you to see in real time what you are doing, monitoring even form. You can watch yourself work out, and I think that it's um, a much better option than Peloton. And when they're talking about increasing subscriptions, I think it's absurd. Um, the market is going to just walk away, or ride away in this case. Loss per share $2.27 versus 83 cents that was expected, and revenue was 964.3 million versus 972.9 expected. And I think this is going to continue. So it says Peloton said the drop was primarily driven by a steep reduction in consumer demand coming off of COVID-19 pandemic's peak. That was partially offset by higher treadmill sales, it said, and I don't see it. I'm sure that there were higher sales, but I just don't see it being sustainable. I wouldn't be surprised if the people that are buying the treadmill bought the bike as well, and they're just trying to keep it in the family, so to speak. But their next option really is the strength training side of things. And free weights are big and bulky, and um, you know, I think even free weights, you need a gym, not necessarily for the home. And to get the full range of exercise and whatnot associated with free weights, you might as well go with a tonal. Particularly, I mean, just shipping the weights are expensive, let alone all of the space. And space is a premium. Things are getting more expensive. Okay, well, at any rate, they think that they're going to turn around, so good luck to them. And there is a new CEO in there that's going to affect change one way or another. So let's see what happens. With that in mind, this has been ohmTown Daily News Show. It's about an hour of news across a whole spectrum of topics, primarily create, news, education, entertainment, social, and technology. And I'm Mayor Watt, the mayor of ohmTown. So if you are listening to this, I typically stream at 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And coming up here shortly, I will be streaming more often, but not necessarily the news. It'll be games and other things. and maybe talking with other people live, not evaluating, but talking about streamers and their streams, and not really getting into the politics of things, just kind of appreciating what others are doing and discovering some new people out there. I have not been discovered, but interacting with people is kind of where I'm at. So I need to get some more people in my chat so that we can keep on talking. And thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow at hopefully 11 o'clock. Bye bye for now.